Well, my name is Brian Lee, and I am married to an amazing woman named Debbie. And I get the privilege of being on staff with InterVarsity at the University of Montana, and she gets to volunteer. But we also get the great privilege of being able to go on missions trips and take students with us. So we lead teams, as part of being a part of InterVarsity, we lead teams of university students from all over the U.S. to Kenya each summer for the last 20 years. And we're trying to raise up students to be missionaries or to be more missionally involved in their neighborhoods, in the marketplace, at school, wherever they find themselves. God takes them across the world. But this year we sent a couple of our students to a new site that we had never been to. It's in a place called the Transmara of Kenya. Kenya's in East Africa, and there's a huge wildlife game park there, the Masai Mara. Very remote, very rural. The main tribe is the Maasai tribe, which are probably one of the more well-known tribes in Africa, actually. So we stayed with a Maasai pastor when we went and visited our two students. There was a Kenyan student and an American student, and met the pastor, and he invited us into his little hut. He had just this little simple mud home that had a small sitting area and two small bedrooms, one for our students. They would normally be for his children. He had about a half a dozen kids, and normally one of the bedrooms would be for the kids and one for the parents. But these gracious, generous people, they brought in these students, had the students live with them, and the kids gave up their bedroom and went and slept in with mom and dad. Debbie and I stayed in this little bedroom about 6 feet by 10 feet with a twin bed. We shared this twin bed, but the biggest memory of my time visiting this ministry site and this host family was at about 5 in the morning. It's still dark outside. I can hear the pastor outside of his hut just walking back and forth and praying out loud. Almost at the top of his voice, but very passionately praying for his family, praying for his church, praying for his cows, praying for the weather, praying for the drought, praying for his tribe, praying for the conflict, the warring conflict with the neighboring tribe, praying for his country, praying for his government, praying for the lost, praying for the world. And he just kept getting bigger and bigger in his prayers. And Debbie and I couldn't sleep at that point, just hearing this man outside of our window just praying, but very passionate prayer for almost 2 hours. And I have to think that this was his pattern, that he would get up every day and pray. And I was just sat there under this mosquito net thinking, I'm not that kind of person of prayer. I want to be that kind of person of prayer, but I'm not. And just being challenged by that, to not that prayer always has to look like that, but just taking prayer more seriously, taking God more seriously, and praying about bigger things. And so that was one of the biggest lessons for me this past summer. Going to Kenya. I've been going there all these years, but every time I go, I learn new things. In fact, I say that one of the reasons that God has us go back year after year is because there's still things that we need to learn. At the beginning of our summer with our students, we always pray. We say, God, use us in Kenya and Kenya in us. Missions is not just about what we do in another place, in another country. It's what God does inside of us. And teaching me to pray was a huge thing, and it's translated into my life even now. I was telling Debbie that my prayer life has been enriched by that. I've been challenged to be more of a man of prayer since coming back, and I'm thankful to God for the opportunity to keep going. We'll go as long as God lets us. Amen.